Hey everybody, BTO Pro here, and today we're going to talk about how to build and contribute LRN components. So I've been talking a lot about Polymer, a lot about web components, and a lot about this LRN thing. So if you want to find out more about it, you can go to github.com/LRNwebcomponents. This is an Elms related project, but it's not specific to much of anything other than a browser, which is pretty awesome. If you want to learn more about web components in general, I suggest you go to webcomponents.org. A lot of the LRN components are currently being listed, and we're adding more pretty much every day. We've added 15 in the last week. So basic idea, web component, you make your own custom HTML. So we wanted to reduce the barriers to people getting involved, and so we made a lrndeveloper repository. And so if you look at lrndeveloper, basically comes with a boilerplate project, which then you can rewrite, and it has some helper scripts and things. I've already installed this on OS X, but you're welcome to go ahead and set it up yourself. It basically automates setting things like Polymer and Bower and NPM up. The idea is to try and make it so that if you have admin on a machine or a VM, you can copy and paste this stuff in and get going very quickly without having to know what all these concepts are. So to open terminal, let's see what we get under the hood. Look like this when we're done. We have a repository folder called LRN Web Components. We've got a whole bunch of them there. Then what I want to type is LRN dev. And LRN dev is just a very simple prompt, basically. You can see this is very developer on the project centric because we have like rebuild all demo sites, update all existing repos, as well as the ability to sync every repo down from GitHub, right? So those 2, 3, and 4 options are kind of specific to if you have access to actually build all of these or if you want to get really deeply involved. If you just want to build a component really stinking fast, if I do option 1, you can see it's going to ask for a valid name of an element. Now, I'm not just going to build any old element like example or stuff/thing. What I'm going to do is go to the LRN Web Components area, and we're going to go to ontology, which is where we're starting to structure what the heck these are. And so let's pick one of these items from the ontology. Let's do LRN design avatar. And so you can see what we've written here is, hey, this is the description. It's supposed to provide support for this thing. Let's look at what the thing is we're trying to build support for. It's basically a wrapper around this paper avatar tag so that you can build these nice little user buttons, if you will. It also has support for there it is, Gedenticon, I wasn't sure of the word, that turns a word and hashes it and turns it into art, which is kind of cool. So you always have a logo for something, basically. Also has support for swapping out an image. Well, in the LRN project, we don't want to use just directly a paper avatar for long-term sustainability reasons. We want to wrap any component in another component, basically. And so we're going to make an LRN design avatar that's built on top of this paper avatar by Abe90. So I'm going to go to the repo on GitHub, because that'll tell me what the actual repository name is. Another little cheat in here, you can see, hey, installed via Bower. If you click this plus sign here, you can see the command to copy and paste to install that. It's a nice little hint. So first off, we're going to paste in this LRN design -avatar and hit go. And this is going to do a lot and do it very quickly. So what it just did there, because in the Elms Learning Network project, we are horribly addicted to automation, I'll say. So what that did, pull up this, is it took the LRN developer repo, it took this boiler-plate repo, which is a stock kind of an element. It copies that into a new directory called whatever you called it. So in this case, LRN design avatar. Then it rewrites this file, renames that file, rewrites this file, jumps in here, rewrites that file, and then gets some Bower dependencies. What you get at the end is this little mini site. So this is being served up via, there's a command in here, which if I hit Command C, I can get out of that little, web server, that mini web server. It stands up to serve that. But what it does there at the end is it basically does polymer serve hyphen open, which will pop that up and serve it as a little component there. So that's kind of just a mini doc site that you get whenever you do that. So let's make that serve again. Polymer serve hyphen open. Okay, you can see I'm in the wrong directory. So LRN design hyphen, whoops, not abbreviation, it's avatar. Now we'll do polymer serve hyphen. Okay, so we've got our little site there. I hit demo, you see nothing special here, right? It's not even what we want it to be. Oh, goodness. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that other command because we got to get the dependencies for this paper avatar thing. We're going to copy that, go into our terminal here. I'm going to leave that one open in the background. Actually, let's lock this window in place, and we're going to do, I already made a web shortcut there, LRN design avatar, and we're going to paste in that Bower install. Okay, that's going to go check out the repo, put it in the right place, and throw it in here. If we look in something like Sublime Text, you'll see LRN design avatar, Bower components, and then what it did is it added that paper element into here, so you can see there's paper avatar. Now, that doesn't actually implement it, right? But what I can do, I can go to the demo and see some of the ways that they've implemented this, right? So we've got paper avatar here. So let's copy that so we'll know when it's working. And then, I lost my place here. Let's go to, all right, we'll close paper avatar folder. We're going to go to this LRN design avatar, make sure it's open. And then we're going to go to its demo, so we can replace this with our demo snippet. Now you can see there's LRN avatar, right? It has nothing put into it yet. So what we need to do is we need to first paste our little demo in here. And so let's take this out, take this part out for that demo snippet, and we're gonna say paper avatar is just this single thing, right? Now, we don't want it to be prop1, we want avatar to probably be name or label, right? We'll go with label. And then a default value for this, that's fine. It doesn't really need one necessarily, but so we'll do label, and then we'll do two-way data binding for this. And what I've done here is I've basically wired this label property up to this label property. And then what will happen is, when we load, paper avatar will, whenever you call LRN design avatar, in this case, it should fall back on the default value for label and then be passed into here, and then you can imagine paper-avatar is going to get called. And then what? Well, nothing at the moment because we haven't imported the definition. And this is, there's two steps to actually getting someone else's web component in place. Step one, I showed before, is do that Bower install. Step two is grabbing that in this way. So I'm going to do an import, and I basically just swap that out. And now this will provide the definition of what a paper avatar is, which then my LRN design avatar element is going to implement and run through the properties as such. Now, I haven't tested this, so this is usually one of those times where there's just a fantastic, epic failure. But you'll see site loaded. That's a good sign for the mini doc site. You can see I've got label there because I defined label underneath, and it says default value is LRN design avatar. Cool. Go to demo. Woohoo! Success. You see we just have the letter L. Now where did the letter L come from? Well, it came from LRN design avatar. And now what I should be able to do, if there is in fact two-way data binding going on, is I should be able to do label equals stuff. And we can see S, yay, or thing, let's see a T. whatever, right? So the idea is to be able to generate a little, a placeholder, badge, icon, whatever you want to call it, avatar, off of pretty much anything. So let's go to the docs and see what some of these other properties are that it has available to it. So we'll go to the APIs for that off web components. You can see there's support for Gedenticon. Cool, that defaults to false. So what I probably want to do is an array of colors for avatar backgrounds, Gedenticon, label, SRC, and 2 chars. I probably want to mirror these in some way into this design component. And so we see that 2 chars is a boolean. We're going to copy. This is actually kind of a slow way of doing this. What I should do is go into paper avatar, and we'll just pull it directly from its little API definition here now, won't we? Okay, so we've got SRC, 2 chars, colors, Gedenticon. Cool. So we're going to paste those into our properties. And we'll see we already have label, right? And label is a string with the default value. Now we'll have SRC. Okay, and now we'll have this 2 chars value and colors and Gedenticon. And so now what we can do is we'll end up wiring this back up. So paste, 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 which will look a little weird at first, I'm sure. So we'll do SRC, SRC, 2 chars. Okay, and actually, that's the way that translates. And then the colors, we'll do colors, we'll pass an array of colors, and then this Gedenticon equals Gedenticon. Okay. So let's default this to true though in our instance, and we'll also default that to boolean true. Let's see what happens. So now, if I go to my little doc site, demo, got the Gedenticon. Woohoo! Cool, right? Now, let's go to our avatar demo. And this is to start to illustrate all the different demo cases there could be. Again, this is just for this little avatar, right? So let's take this. And now we'll say label equals stuff. And we'll do that Gedenticon value equals false because it defaults to true in our little example here. And then in this case, we'll do label equals done, sure. And what we should see now, we can go to our doc site, refresh. The other neat thing, I added those in, and now you see, the API reference site updates itself. Demo, and now I've got these 3. Now I wasn't able to make Gedenticon false. Not sure that that's how you define it. Maybe it's like that. I haven't actually done booleans in HTML before, come to think of it. No. All right, so that's enough reason to go, well, these shouldn't default to true now, should they? Let's default them to false, the 2 chars and the Gedenticon, if I can speak. And now we're going to go, we're going to say 2 chars, go to our little demo site, and in this case, now we just have a flag, right? So we'll do that flag too, and in this case, we'll do a label equals stuff. Let's do stuff for all 3 so you can see the difference between them. And we're going to reload. Now you see S, and we've got that swirly pattern because that's with the Gedenticon, and then we've got the 2 chars pattern for ST, right? So why do we encapsulate all these things? Well, it'd be pretty awesome if when we want to communicate about a concept that has instructional significance, that we actually had a design element for it. So I'm going to go and let's see, what do we have in here that would be cool to do that with? So LRN assignment would be a simple one, right? So if we go to LRN assignment, we can see this demo site for it. Fire that up. All right, we can see an assignment has all these different ways of representing itself as far as the properties. If we go to demo, we can see one of those properties is display. And so if I do display, or don't do display in this case, it defaults to that, we can see then, if I do use display, right, display paper card, it's actually going to use that downstream element to present the instructional concept. And so because we've abstracted instructional significance, which is what the LRN tags are, from the design significance, instructional design, get it, now I can do that exact same data and say, you know what, display yourself as a drawer. And now I've got a flyout. Or now I've got a card. Or now I've got a card that's editable. Or whatever the thing is. The idea is that if we keep the presentation layer abstracted from the model, MVC, if you're more of a developer mindset, that we can keep adding new, different ways of representing this. So that then when I want to represent an assignment, it's not the onus isn't on the assignment necessarily to represent itself as an avatar. It's to say, hey, I want to represent myself as an avatar, hand that data downstream. So how do we get to that part? So what we're going to do is, first, I need to make an LRN design avatar repo so that we can move forward with this. And so go to GitHub and the LRN web components. I'm going to make a new repo here. It's a little bit of seeing behind the scenes of the kitchen. So a design element for presenting an avatar. Wow, I am very creative. Okay, so we're going to make that. It's going to say a bunch of stuff, but because I already have access to the repo, I don't really care. What we're going to do is, since I made changes to this, I'm going to do git add a, git commit m, and we'll do updated demo and implemented avatar. Okay. Then I'm going to do git push origin master. All right, so that gets that code up there. Now, so that I can use it in other downstream repos, or actually other upstream design-wise, but we're going to do git tag 0.0.1, and we'll do git push origin 0.0.1. Now what this does is it gives it a version out on GitHub. If you're not familiar with what that process just did with those commands, that took my code that I've been working on in front of you over the last 15 minutes and pushed it up here, and then it created a tagged release of 0.0.1. So that's the way we version things, and say, this is, when I talk about 0.0.1, this is what it is. So now let's utilize that element. I'm going to copy this address, or actually, I'm going to do something else. We're going to copy this address. We're going to go over to webcomponents.org. We're going to hit publish element. So why not? It'd be cool to see how that works. So you read through these things, it tells you how to publish. Basically just copy and paste into this field, say that you're not a robot, and hit publish. The other neat thing about the lrndeveloper repo is it ensures that it has all the requirements to get pushed up here very quickly. Now, I want to pull this into another repository. I want to pull it into an instructional repository. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy that, right? That little shorthand there under the plus sign. I'm going to go to LRN assignment, and we are going to do that command, which will pull in our LRN design avatar and all of its components. So that's the other thing with Bower. You can see that also pulled in paper avatar and made sure that polymer was in place and some of this, LRN icon repos, which already were there. So now what I can do, I'll go to Sublime, and now we're going to be implementing the LRN design avatar inside of our LRN tag. All right. So if I go to LRN assignment and we go to LRN assignment here, first thing I have to do is make a reference in here to LRN design in this case, and avatar. Okay. Let's see, it's already noticed that file in there, but I'll paste it anyway. All right, so now there's the ability to use LRN design avatar in here. What we're doing to keep the design and the instructional significance separated in this case is that we use these this neat convention of element stamping or template stamping from Polymer that lets you do if statements. And so what we've done is we've kind of built out some abstraction. Whenever you see an LRN tag, it has behaviors that are inherited. We'll be adding more of these in the future. But so basically what it lets you do is I can take this data. So where's drawer? Yeah, drawer is a good one to steal from. So I'm going to copy this if statement that lives here. Paste, and now instead of drawer, we're going to say avatar. And this will ensure that the name that's used matches avatar. Now instead of LRN design drawer, we're going to use avatar. We're going to take out the guts of this, and then what we're going to do is see, well, there's a title property for assignment. There's no icon in this case, and so I need to make sure my closing tag matches. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do label equals, whoops, that would have been nice if I had done that. Label equals title. And so what that's doing is it's binding and passing down whenever someone calls LRN assignment and gives it a title. If they say to render it as an avatar, it's going to go, oh, I match this case, so I need to present myself this way. So it's going to stamp in its place an LRN design avatar tag, and then it's going to map the title that the user put in with the label tag in LRN design avatar, which then if we go to LRN design avatar, we can see that that trickles down, is going to hit paper avatar, and then paper avatar will use that the way it needs to. Because this also has support for the two chars and the Gedenticon stuff, I could also do two chars in this case. So maybe every time we talk about an assignment, we actually want to use it in the two-character form, and we want to make sure that it has a title. Now in the future, right, there's, image is a property that's valid here. We might have color be a valid property that we cascade down. We could cascade the color and those attributes that have been wired into our assignments down into the avatar and get design consistency between avatar, drawer, card, any way that we present this information. So we're going to save that. Now my next step is I got to put it in the demo. If I don't put it in the demo, it's not going to show for you. And so we go into the demo, which has a whole bunch of different ways of presenting this stuff. We're going to scroll down, we're going to search for drawer. All right, we're going to copy this demo snippet for drawer, paste, and instead of drawer now, we are going to say avatar, okay. And now in LRN design, or LRN assignment, we are going to say display avatar. I know that part was really hard. I copy and pasted a lot. So now we're going to go to our terminal, and I need to get that mini site up. So we're going to do polymer serve -- open. So we get our mini doc site that we had for assignment, and we're going to fire up the demo. So first case, hey, LRN assignment looks like that. Here it is as a card, here it is as a paper card, here it is as a drawer, and here it is as an avatar. So now we've been able to create a single tag that we can cycle into different modes, right? I didn't have to do anything to LRN assignment other than basically tell it how to communicate to the design tag for an avatar in order to represent itself as an avatar. This also lets us have a lot of consistency in the way these things are used. So if I have a list of assignments and it's a big overview list and I want them to always be presented as an avatar, I have a lot more control out as to what that looks like, right? I've created all these design flexibility options as far as LRN design avatar, which I can now go into my LRN gradebook or my LRN content, or vocab would probably be a good one, right? If I wanted an icon for it, or a LRN person tag as to how we present a person and communicate about them. Whatever the case may be, I can implement this, this avatar tag with its flexibility constraints, and maybe in those other places, whenever, instead of having the two chars option be hardwired into it, maybe I don't have that. Maybe I have that Gedenticon thing, right? So if I have Gedenticon there, now anytime that is communicated about, it'll present itself that way, right? I could also pass down, you know, if there's an image. Now I don't have an image associated here. I could also do a different thing wired up to it. So, you know, let's do details wired up instead of title, right? I could do details, save, and now based on the details someone has given, it's going to give a different art abstraction. But again, at the end of the day, what the user has done is they basically copy this tag, which there's a little shortcut for that even, and they're pasting it in to whatever, a body field or another developer's implementing it. These concepts start to stack on each other. You know, once you start to think in this way, it's kind of like Lego bricks. So, you know, it's more about what you want to build and how you want your grid, you know, your Lego grid laid out, how you want these elements to work off of each other. And so we're trying to help automate and create some standard process around the way at which you go about building these, you know, kind of your methodology for component design, as well as leveraging other things the community is doing. So notice I borrowed that paper avatar. Paper avatar is awesome. But now let's step through our time portal about a year. Maybe the paper avatar project goes a different direction, right? And so now it comes time, oh shoot, the paper avatar thing doesn't want to implement this one option that we really need. And I know really need is super variable and vague, but that's the point. We could potentially now, right, our end users are using this LRN assignment, developers are putting in place LRN assignment, but they're not doing the design aspect of it. So as long as LRN assignment has enough properties and has the right properties, we can rewire and remap these to our design components. And then even further, we can dig into our design components and remap how those are built entirely without it affecting things upstream. So if it's someone copying and pasting something into a text editor, and they've pasted in LRN assignment and they've said, I need this to render as an avatar, it no longer matters what we do under the hood, so long as it's going to present the thing they expect. This is also a big win when it comes to you know, accessibility. You're not going to have your end users necessarily having to worry about accessibility just because if you've wired the components to be accessible or you've used some of the very accessible components that exist from the paper series. I think it's A11Y is in, yeah. So like the iron elements, that's what I meant to say. If these are already wired in, then the elements you build on top of them are going to inherit those properties. And so you can basically create these very advanced, well-designed components that have semantic significance that are 100% accessible and your end users can't screw them up. How is that not a win? So that's everything I had to show today. Again, you can find out more about the project, you know, web components in general on webcomponents.org, or you can search for LRN and kind of stumble your way over to the LRN Git repo. The repo that describes our ontology is called ontology, and the developer repo is called lrndeveloper. And the ontology breaks out into a bunch of different things. It's, you know, a work in progress for sure, but now as of this video, we've got 16 elements that are up there. So thanks for watching and hope to see you contributing soon.